Well, I'm a director, as part of the senior management group, but director for the Child Advocacy Centre, which is based in Armidale. So responsible for the team working in that model of service delivery, and also for the Armidale Family Support Network, which is based in Armidale as well. So essentially we're running two service types for children and families in the community, and families can access our services either coming here referring themselves, or we get referrals from other community agencies, or with the Child Advocacy Centre from police and child protection. Both of the services are very new and pilots in a sense for the state. One is funded by government completely and is part of their platform of service development, that's the network, and the other, the Child Advocacy Centre Parkville, is very much the leader in that, and that's very innovative for Australia. So it's an exciting role and a challenging one. I've been working in government in the Department of Child Protection for over 20 years, and my role at that point was to look at improving services to children and families around case practice. So I'd already started to look at the Child Advocacy Centre model and to travel and do some research around that role, and had discussed with government the best way forward. Then I met with Basil and the leadership group and the board at Parkville, who were so excited about the model and really willing to step up and provide some leadership to embrace the community and gather more support for the model, and to look at moving it forward. And they did that in conjunction with government support, and for me it was a challenge to leave government after 23 years, but very exciting to come to Parkville, where there was so much energy around making a difference and significant change for children and young people in WA. Well, the research tells us that when people actually disclose or tell us that they have been abused as a child, they might do that as a child or as an adult, that generally systems kick in, police will investigate that, child protection will make sure the child's safe, do a safety assessment, but usually they don't get any service. So their opportunity to link to something that will help them recover from that trauma is limited, and that's often because people are in chaos at that point. There might be a lot going on in their life, and there's all these people buzzing around them, needing them to give statements or to participate in meetings. The Child Advocacy Centre model is essentially making it easier for people. It's holistic, it looks at all of their needs at a particular point in time. So we are very proactive in the way we design services. We follow up with people, we make sure that they're given information over and over so that they can remember it. And we really spend a lot of time developing relationship with them so they feel like they can trust a professional, and then discuss what they might need to do to recover from their trauma experience. Sexual violence means that people have often experienced abuse and a lack of power, so it's about helping them to regain power over their lives and to deal with any stresses that have developed because of that. Definitely the opening day of the George Jones Child Advocacy Centre. I started with Parkville in 2010 and we opened in March of 2011, but I'd worked a long time, a couple of years with the agency before I actually started here on the model, alongside government stakeholders, local council, service agencies and community to get it to the point of opening. And when people walked through the building on the opening day, their feedback was fantastic. They were absolutely amazed at the space, and what I was proud of was being able to tell them how we'd involved children and young people in planning the building, how they had helped to design the space, the murals on the wall, and our plans for the urban art on the back. And that really was a story about telling them that we've involved children and young people from the very beginning. We felt they're the ones that use the service, so what would they like in a space, but also what would they like in the service delivery model, which was one person, one or two people to talk to, and somebody that would be there to support them all the way. So the building is fantastic and it's a great place to work, and the police who come and other stakeholders continue to give us fantastic feedback. But really it's more than that. It's the way that we operate services from here, and that's our ongoing journey in terms of getting people to engage more strongly in the model of service delivery. So within the Child Advocacy Centre, we have a number of key roles. We have a doctor on site a couple of days a week, paediatrician, an advocate, full-time advocate, and a psychologist from our therapeutic family services team. Then we liaise strongly with stakeholders, police, interviewers, and Child Protection Squad, and the Department of Child Protection, who also have interviewers and case managers. So the goal at the first point of referral, if the referral comes from police and child protection, they come to interview a child, and then we offer the services around that child that might also be needed on the day that they're interviewed or subsequently. The goal is that the police and child protection can do their forensic interview and find out what has happened to the child. An advocate is able to support the family. The psychologist can be involved immediately if there is significant concern around that child's presentation, or they might be involved in the long term in terms of counselling, and the doctor is able to provide an examination or a child developmental assessment if needed. So it's about what does the child need at that point in time, and going forward we plan for the child's needs. So our goal is really to support families well. So we look at not only the presenting issue of harm to the child, we'll ask the family what else is going on in their life that they might need support with. So that could be anything from homelessness, drugs and alcohol, could be domestic violence. Quite often parents will disclose their own history of sexual abuse that they've never told anybody about, and that's all unresolved. So we might ask them if that's something that they want to address. And our goal in doing that is to support the parents well, so that they can actually care for their child well who's had this experience, and they know how to respond to their child's behaviour or distress. So we're actually strengthening the family and therefore improving the outcomes for the child. Also, it's essentially prevention. We hope that that will strengthen the family, and then there won't be anybody in that family that has a similar experience, and going forward that child or young person grows into a strong, healthy adult who is able to parent well and enjoy relationships and all of those things, because the research tells us that outcomes for children and young people who've experienced sexual abuse can be very devastating, including self-harm, eating disorders, mental illness, drug and alcohol use, attempts at suicide. So it's really about responding holistically and very strongly to that child at that young point, doing a good job with them and supporting them for as long as they need, and then setting them on their way, and they know that they can come back in the future if they need our services any further.